turn the service over now to Brother Joe Conley.
Wasn't hardly ready that quick for it. You want to turn your hymn books to 567. That'll be our closing song, Song of Invitation. I haven't had my songbook over here yet. I'll do that too. 567. Again, I'd like to thank the Lord above that He's given me this opportunity again to stand back before His people and to proclaim His word, not my words, but His. And that's very important. I think today some people want to put their own spin on things and not necessarily let Christ lead the way they ought to be led. I hardly ever get a message before the week before I get ready to do the service up here. To be the vessel for God this day and time for the worship service. He usually gives me within that week, most all the time. But He, sometimes it's just a few hours before. But I think He's put me down a series of roads. It's been on my mind for some time. And I want to go back. It's going to be very simple and very easy today. But I think He's going to lead me down a road because of the things that's been going on in the world, in a sense, in my personal life to an extent. And I think this song we just sung, 644, Trust and Obey, is the starting of this journey that I'm getting ready to take with the Lord. And I think it's a place that each and every one that's here today needs to be a part of it. And hopefully there'll be more that comes in. And hopefully you won't miss the journey that I'm going to be on with the Lord, that you can see and you can be a part of that journey with it. Because you're going to be on a journey somewhere down the road. And what journey you take with the Lord is up to you and the Lord. It's not up to me. I just hope you're a part of it, because I really honestly believe He's working some things in me right now to get some things going. It's going to be hard at times. It's going to be a hard sermons. But I trust in the Lord. He's not going to lead me down the wrong direction. He's going to lead me in the right direction if I walk with Him. As that first verse says, when we walk with the Lord. And that's where we need to be at. On a personal basis. Not on my basis, but on a personal basis with each and every one of us. Individually walk with God. I need not to put anybody above me and in front of me other than Christ Jesus Himself. And neither should you put anybody in front of you other than Jesus Christ Himself. Follow His footsteps. He leads the way. And I thought that was awful good. And trust Him. Trust. That is one person that will never, ever leave you. We may leave Him or we may turn our back on Him. But Christ Jesus will never leave you. He can take care of our burdens. And that verse 3 there talks about the burdens. It talks about shadows rising up in verse 2. It talks about in verse 4, which we didn't sing, but that's okay. Delights of His love. There's going to be joyful times in that trip with Jesus. There's going to be burdens with Him. Number 5 down there, the fellowship is sweet with Jesus Christ. Now, I'm going to get out of the songbook for a few minutes. And I'm going to go to Genesis chapter 1. Ought to be easy to find. First book in the Bible, starting out at the beginning. Don't know how much comments I'm going to make today. I am going to do some reading, and I will make a few comments. But like I said, I think this is a journey I'm beginning to get on that has been in my mind for some time now. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and the earth was without, I can't even get my words out. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning was the first day. So when time began, as this earth is known. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters with which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning was the second day. So we've got 2 days already into it. Verse 9 it says, and God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place. Let the dry land appear, and it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass and herb, yielding seed, and the fruit trees yielding fruit after his kind, those seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb, yielding seed after his kind, and tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. So for, if you get on a peaceful day out here, that everything's going really right, sun's out, and it just feels good. I like to think of springtime and things are starting to bud, flowers are starting to bloom, the heat's not really penetrated a whole lot, and you just get out by yourself and see some of God's handiwork, how good it is. God made things that were good, hadn't been corrupted at this point in time. And what he's still got out there is still good. That part of it hasn't changed, that he's already made it. We went up to the third day, so forth. It's later on when things starts changing, and where we're at today. It didn't happen real quickly. What God made happen quickly, with what we would call time, I assume, one day. But if 1 day to God is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is 1 day. There's no time relevance for God the way I understand the Bible. We have timetables. We have things we've got to do. But we're up to the third day, and everything is good. And God said, let there be light in the firmament of the heavens, verse 14, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and for years. Now we're going to be able to start telling little times here, can't we? Day and night, signs and seasons, years. Verse 15 it says, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light upon the earth, and it was so. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light unto the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Verse 20 it says, and God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that hath life, and fowls that may fly above the earth in the open firmaments of heaven. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them and saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let fowls multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. God is creating all this stuff that we see today, and we can look back, and this is how He done it. And He says it's good. And it is. He's correct. It is good. Do you not see the birds fly out? Mom just told me this morning she got a little statue of a cardinal and a red bird. And it is beautiful, sitting on a little rock with flowers and all lights up. It's beautiful. Somebody had to have a picture of that somewhere. They must have seen something that God had created to get that picture, or get that statue made. It was beautiful. The things that God has created that we can see and touch and feel, and it keeps us going, God made was good. It hasn't been corrupted. At this point in time, things are good. God's seen it and He says it's good. I trust God that it was good, and it's still good. Like I said, I don't know what trip He's going to be taking me down here in the next few months. But I'm ready for that trip. Oh yeah, it makes me nervous a little bit around the way. But I think me and Him's got a journey that we must take to tell and spread His good tidings. I need to trust and obey. I think this sermon is as much for me as it is for anybody else. I just hope you all get a little bit out of it. Verse 24. And God said, let earth bring forth the living creatures after his kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Again, the things that God has given us is good. The things that God presents to us is good. There's nothing bad that God is going to give you until later on. And God's not giving it to you. Things will happen. But we'll find that out later. Whether we get it today or not, if time permits, we'll get to it. If not, then we won't. Just have to be here the third Sunday of next month, if the Lord's willing. I think He's sending me down a journey. And I think He wants this congregation to be on that journey with me and Him. I can't tell you what I want to speak of every time that I get up here. I leave it up to Him. Let Him tell me to tell you, I am only a vessel. You are only a vessel. Are you willing to let God be within you and let Him use you as that vessel? Are you willing to be a vessel for God? Are you willing to take a journey with God? We can take all kinds of journeys with Satan. I'm telling you that right now. He's got all kinds of avenues he wants you to go down with him. Trust in God. Obey God rather than man. Man ain't even in the picture yet, according to what we're reading. So we're just going back to where we begin here. I think it was important. I think God wanted me to make the importance of what He created and set forth in motion. And I think He's going to take me over to chapter 3 and let you see what happens. This is part of the journey. But we need to know where we begin from. I think Brother Jimmy has talked a lot of time. We need to know our history. We need to know where we've been so that we don't make the mistakes. And I know it's hard for young people, and I'm one of the young people. When I was young, I thought my way needed to be done my way. It was important. And not pay no attention to mom and dad that made the mistakes. And they already been there and know what I was getting myself into, but I was not smart enough to understand that if I'd only listened to them, I could have got myself out of some different messes that I got myself into. That's why correction is so important. If you go back into the Bible and start reading about this, go back into Proverbs and keep Ecclesiastes, go anywhere in the Bible, you'll find out. Trust in Jesus Christ and God. Dad always said, when someone told him, well, I had faith you would do that. Dad said, don't put no faith in me. Put your faith in God. Now, if you want to, have confidence in me, that's fine. But don't put your faith in me that I'll do anything, because I will fail you. I'm taking that same statement. I'll take it from Dad, I guess. You tell me you got the faith in me that I'll do something. I say, I'll tell you, no, don't put your faith in me. Put your faith in God, who will not fail you. And if you want to put confidence in me, that's fine. I am going to fail you at some time or another. I'm sure of that. I'll try not, but I'm sure I will. And it's important. We need to know who to trust into. We also need to know who to obey. Just because I'm speaking up here, if it isn't thus saith the Lord, it is nothing more than my opinion. And your opinion is just as worthy as my opinion. Whether we agree the same or whether we don't. But when it says, thus saith the Lord, if you start having problems with that, you're wrestling with God. And that's a whole new different ballgame. And it's important how we need to think about God and the way He does things. Verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God created He him. Male and female created He them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the hour, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. God gave man a little bit of power here, didn't He? Now, try to wake up the ears of the fishermen, see? Picked on you, didn't I? Shame on me. Didn't it say there a little bit ago over the fish of the seas? We've got dominion. Guess what? When you throw that big lure out in there and you hook that big one, you wrestle with it. Unless it gets awful lucky and you don't have no net at all. And I asked Zeke all about that. He knows all about that more than I do, because I don't have that much fishing him to be able to dig him one. That fish is going to get away. He's going to fight, and he's going to fight hard. But more than likely, you're going to bring it in. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Zeke still puts them up on a little trophy type of a thing. He can do taxidermy stuff. You've got that to show your friends and your buddies. God gave me the ability to have power over that fish. We'll read up there again. It says, and God blessed them. And let me just read over 28 and 29 again. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, and to subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. I go down the road today, lot of the places I go, they've got these big fences, stand about that high. Big wooden, pretty beautiful fences. And there's horses in there. Them horses doesn't get out unless they break that fence. We are in control of those horses. Did it not say there that God gave us power over over living things every living thing that moves upon the earth? Right, even here, do you not see cattle that is fenced up? Do you not see a dog on a leash? We have ability for a lot of things. But God has created all this. God has given this all to us. Verse 29 said, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed to you, it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, everything there is life. I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Now think about this. What I just read. Probably every one of you in here could have read it better than what I read it. Anybody could have taken the same scriptures that I just read and read it better than what I read. But God wanted me to read these scriptures to you this morning. He wanted me to take time out and explain to you what he has made is good. What he has done is good. They had purpose and meaning. And it was beautiful. You can still go into places and find some of the most beautiful things you've never seen. I remember, and I know we've got a bulletin today. It talks about your experiences and something about not really. I read that this morning. I thought, it's going to get into my message a little bit, isn't it? But that's okay. I live by experiences that I have with God. And how beautiful things are at times, and then how ugly some things can get. I was just a very young lad at the time. Probably somewhere around 8, 9, maybe 10 years old. I don't remember. I do remember the situation. I think God gives us things in our lives so that we can share it with others, to either help someone else or show someone else a point into how they ought to be or how they ought to relate to different things. That's just me. Like I said, I'm out of the Bible right now, so I'm giving you my opinion. So one morning we decided to get up and go towards Georgetown. I think Brother Tommy was working down there, and he had a yellow Ford truck. I didn't remember, it's just plain and beautiful. This is before you had to have all these seat belts and everything else. He decides he wants to take Mom and Dad and all of us that were still at the house down to Georgetown. So here you had 3 or maybe 4 if you wanted to crowd a little bit in the front seat of that truck. It would be crowded for 4. Most of us, little old fellows, are back there in the back. With a little camper top on it, camper top up, and we were looking out the back, coming up the hill. It was gravel, coming out of the holler at that time. And Dad was back there with us. He said, look at that, you'll never see a more beautiful place today. We're getting ready to go out into the world, and you'll never see another beautiful place like this coming out of this holler. I mean, it was in the summertime, the trees was hanging over. I'm trying to paint you a picture real quick so you can get what I'm getting ready to tell you. The trees was hanging over, where they was touching each other, and it was beautiful. Pretty summer morning, and I mean, the shade was in there, and then Dad looked back and said, you'll never see that again today. And every one of us agreed with him. No, we'll never see this again today. Because we're getting ready to go to the big city. We was going to Lexington. I'd probably never been to Lexington before at that time. I don't remember. Probably hadn't. Here, we was going down the road in the back of this truck, and we had a good time. This is memories. We had a good time that day. We really did. We went down, and I believe it was Carl Perkins' farm that we was on. And Tommy was taking us different places. Of course, Tommy didn't know about this thing that Dad had told us about coming out of the holler, how beautiful it was. And it was. It's beautiful up there in that holler at that time. It still is. It's still a beautiful place. They do a good job keeping it up there. But anyway, we go down this little field. Across the field and stuff. Of course, we went through a lot of, the stench of the blacktop. If you've never been around a blacktop that's been newly done or anything, it's just got an odor you just can't get out of your nose hardly. I mean, we smelled a lot of that day. A lot of oil and stuff, grease and grime and stuff on the road and different things like that. And that wasn't very good smelling stuff. But we get all the way down there in Georgetown. And then we go back through this field. And then we go down this little driveway. There was two beautiful fences lined with trees. Trees coming over, going over the top. Absolutely gorgeous. The difference was that what was in the holler and what we seen down there, we was driving on grass that was freshly cut. Beautiful. Wasn't even no tracks. Looked at Dad and said, we wasn't going to see that pretty sight no more, was we? There's still pretty sights in the world. Just because where we're at, it's not always the prettiest, but it's beautiful where we're at. But there's other pretty things too. God has created all this stuff. We, as people, are going to cultivate it, nourish it, and take care of it. That's what God put us here for. God put us here to take care of things that He created. I didn't create none of that. I didn't create none of that that's up in the holler that was so beautiful that morning that we went out. I didn't create anything that was down on that field. But I could take care of it. That's what He's given me things to do here. Now, I have been talking about nothing but the earth right now. I've talked about nothing but the earth, of the flowers, of the seeds, of the cattle, of the fish, of the birds. I can take care of all that stuff. God needs to show me how to take care of that stuff. Am I going to know it on my own? Am I going to know what I should or should not do? God gives us things we should and shouldn't do. And we'll get into that. But everything that God created was good. Even man. No, Joe, man ain't good. God created man, and man is good. God did not corrupt man. God did not corrupt this nastiness you see in places that you just, when you see and smell it, you just don't want to be around. God did not create. God let man destroy it. God let man destroy himself, if you want to do that. But that's for another lesson. This is the setting of what I think God, or a journey I think God wants me to go down. And He wants me to take you all with me, if you choose to come and listen and to look. And if I get out in the wrong field somewhere, tell me, Joe, you just ain't right there. Well, if it's my opinion, you might be right. But if it's thus saith the Lord, you take that up with God. I don't know where this is going to take me. I've got approximately, when we come up here, and there's a time for all things first. Everything has a time and a place. It's right now, 1 minute to 12 according to that clock back there. It's time for me to stop this sermon. I think God wanted me to know what, or wanted me to let you all know, and let me know what He has done. God has created beauty, beautiful everything. How long it takes me to get to the journey I'm going on, I might live to be 110, who knows? Terry probably hopes not. Because as grouchy I'm getting now, it's going to be a whole lot worse as I get older, more than likely. And maybe I'll get better. I hope I get better at things. But whether I've got another 2 years, whether I even get back next week or not, I don't know. But guess what? It doesn't really matter. You know why it doesn't matter? Because I have a hope in Christ Jesus, who came, that we took sacred emblems of a while ago, that I'll be with God one of these days. Because I'm going to trust God, and I'm going to do my best to obey Him. But we're going to find out later on in the lessons that He gives me to present to you all and to the other ministers that ministers excuse me, here. He's going to give me things that hopefully will help each and every one of us. I learn from people. You learn from people. But trust in God. He done everything good and perfect. And as we said down here, very good. When he said in verse 31, and behold, it was very good. Very good. God is a loving God. And I think I've said this before out of this pulpit. But He is also, remember this, He is also a just God. You can bank on it. He tells you that you do this, you will, I'm just going to give you a little insight. He told Adam that if you partake of this one fruit, you will surely die. And Satan comes around and says, you will surely not die. Just give you a little insight what's to come. My question today, are you with God? Are you still fighting with Him? Or are you with Him? Are you ready and willing to follow Him? Are you following Him? That's my question today. He made everything good. Nothing that He made was bad. Remember that. Where are you at with Jesus Christ? Where are you at with God? I don't know. I know where I'm at. I'm going to try to trust Him, and I'm going to do my best to obey Him even more. And the invitation is open today. If you're not with God, or if you're away from God and you want to come back to Him, you can do that right there at your seat. Bow your head and ask Him to back into your life. But we would love to have the joy to be able to pray with you and for you. And you share it with us. If you're not a child of God, you have that opportunity to come and confess that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And be buried with Him in baptism so you can start walking with Him. And if you've done all those things before and you're a Christian, but yet you really don't have a place to work, you've got that opportunity too. If you've done it here, you're already a member of this congregation. It's nothing that is important as far as salvation is concerned, but it's a place to do the work of the Lord with people that you love and in like mind. You have that opportunity here. As we stand and sing number 566.